All right, welcome everybody. So good to be here with all of you. We have an incredible guest today, Dr. Alex Ling, who lives in Cornwall, England, and many of you may remember we had him on for the solar eclipse on April 8th, right before the eclipse happened, and what a pleasure it was to have him in our community. And something incredible happened, as I know all of you are aware, that during the solar eclipse, and please today, everyone make sure you're muted yourselves since we have Alex on and I'm not able to mute you fully. Let me just double do that real quick. Sorry, guys, hold on. Please make sure you stay muted. Okay. So during the solar eclipse, as you remember, grandmother's spider came and it was a game changer. I remember Alex saying, or Raphael saying that there is life before the solar eclipse and life after the solar eclipse. And I know for me, there were huge shifts and changes that happened that were really, really beautiful. And I hope that all of you are feeling that as well. But what came from that was the Mother Source creation grid that we've all tapped into. And I'm going to take one moment and share it with you because it's so important that we connect to its frequency, remembering that it came on the 8th of April, that it's all this infinite love that's radiating out onto the planet, and that all of you are holding codes of light, and that light is descending onto the earth into 144,000 points, and we're weaving all of this light. And so there's these beautiful intersections between Alex and our community and the work that we're doing. One is that he happens to live in Cornwall, and Debashree and I are going to Glastonbury for the fall equinox, working with the twin flame frequency. So we'll be meeting up with him in person when we're there. And as you know, we've been working a lot with the Lion energy in the Lion Light Code, which is that very, very galactic, expansive frequency that goes to the core of the galactic center. But simultaneously, it's been very raw, very primal, very intense, and it brings us all the way down into the inner earth. And Alex was talking about, the ancient codings and the creation of water and how powerful and important water is, but how comes from the galactic, right? But it also rises up from the earth center, that primal water. And where is its origin and how do we connect these two and how is it being reactivated around the planet and brought up for us to attune to because we're made of water, and how is it affecting us and our DNA and the relationship between that. He also had a beautiful experience with some star beings as a portal opened, so he's going to share that with us and about his water. He has this incredible water, it's called Aquan. And he's going to tell us more about it, but it's infused with myrrh and frankincense and gold, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. Last time he was on Pam Gregory, and it sold out in a second, and I couldn't get it. I know it's available now, and so we'll share a link with you if you want to connect with that beautiful frequency. So before we start talking with Alex, I'm just going to share the Mother Source Creation Grid just for a minute so we can just tap into that vibration. And maybe in our discussion together today with Alex, we can talk about the relationship between water and light and sound as sources of creation and how they're woven together, and how that is supporting us in our ascension journey. Okay, I'm going to share my screen for one moment, and this is to remind you guys to make sure that you have your symbol of your light code so we can plug it in to the grid. All right, hold on. Let's see. Okay. Hmm.
I am the Mother Source Creation Grid. I come from nothingness, from the emptiness, the in-between, and I expand that frequency to create an infinite web of love that I am weaving around the magnificent and beautiful planet that you call Mother Earth. She is ascending into a higher frequency, as are you. You were born in this now moment to open your heart, for you are here on the planet at this unique time to participate in the ascension process. I have sent you the Master Ascension Light Codes, and I ask you and 144,000 others to hold these codes in your heart, to send them into the planet and to one another, and to also receive whatever is needed within your being to open up the space to give birth to the new earth. You are one.
All right, so beautiful, right? Just to move into that frequency. So I want to remind you guys, if you have your symbols, that you print them out and you look at them and you keep holding the love and weaving it into the planet. And so we'll talk to Alex about the water. If you heard the water in the background of that video, the water is essential in our ascension process, and us attuning to the primary water that comes from the galactic core. So with that, Alex, hi, how are you? You have to unmute yourself, darling.
Okay. Hi, Kelly. Thank
Hi.
you. Thank you for having me again. That was a beautiful video. Absolutely stunning.
Mm.
And it's all about frequencies and water and the ancient people, the ancient indigenous people we're working with. They know all about water. So they're teaching us how to reconnect with the water as well, and the cosmic water, of course, the cosmic oceans, and the whole story about how to recreate a song of water, because they're using a lot of chanting when they communicate with water. So we learned a lot. We are still in Mexico, actually, here just outside San Miguel de Allende. And so we had another fantastic journey, reconnecting with our friends from Ejido La Flor, which is a small community. And they are also protecting the lagoons, which are in the middle of the desert, which has the purest, this is real living water. And so they are really deeply connected to the water, of course, because they're connected to the indigenous groups of the Iritillas, which are now extinct, of course, but they are the Laguneros, which are the descendants of this group. And in the time when the Iritillas still existed, they were half fish and half human. So there's this really deep connection to the Pleiades, and so there's this amazing area which I want to talk about as well, where we found a lot of ancient rock carvings. Some go back, so being told by the indigenous people, 2 million years.
Wow.
It's just incredible.
And you were saying that the rock carvings had the Pleiades, the seven sisters on them, and my God.
Yes. So we found some figures which were carved into the rocks, and the rocks are just above the ancient seabed. So it's like a whole area which stretches hundreds of thousands of acres, and that's the old ancient seabed, the ocean. And it's all consisting of dunes, and the dunes are just beautiful. And so we were right in the middle, and we put our camp up in the middle of the dunes, because this area, which is called Linda Vista, is a small community, but it's connected to a cafe, and it's run by 2 indigenous people. And Eva, who is running the cafe, she is very much connected to the extraterrestrials, and she knows they're revisiting all the time, because it's a little bit like a little Roswell, the Mexican Roswell. So they have like all this extraterrestrial drawings everywhere, so you can stop at the cafe and you can have a chat. And this area is also a magnetic field, and that is really interesting in it all. So there's a lot of meteorites, which you can find. I mean, we found probably in an hour, probably 50 meteorites. They're just littered everywhere in the dunes. And so because of the magnetic field, the meteorites are attracted to the area, and that's why they come down in that specific area. And so since the eclipse, because we've been in that area to experience the eclipse on the 8th of April, and it was just a mind-blowing experience in itself. It changed a lot. It changed a lot of frequencies globally, the water, and the most amazing thing was also that when you're in that area of the dunes, there's still the blueprint of the water is in the sand, because you can feel it. And we have used that also to we poured some water onto the sand, and then we have taken some images of it. So we semi-freeze it, and then we have a specific technique how to highlight all the colors of the crystallized water. And it's the most amazing messages came across, again, from extraterrestrials. Pyramids popped up. It was just mind-blowing. But the rock carvings are just above the dunes. And you can see where the ancient ocean used to be. And then this area would have been like the shore of the ancient ocean, where the Erythilas would have lived in that time. So this time, really, really honored, because they showed us a very, very sacred place, which is a cave dwelling from the Erythilas. And I never experienced such energy. There were still some rock paintings in the cave, rising water, and also the sun came up as a symbol. So there were some indications of planetary mapping. So that it was just mind-blowing. But the energy to be in there, to reconnect with that blueprint, was just amazing, amazing.
And so you're finding that the water, you're connecting with this primal water, right? Primal water that was already there in the bed prior to what it was, and that the blueprint is very pure and clear and connected. And simultaneously, it seems like it's feeling very galactic, right? It's like a...
Yes, and their connection to our galactic friends was very, very intense and very close. So
tell me about that, because you mentioned that you had some type of encounter or something.
yes, so when we came into the desert this time, and Eva observed the sky, and she said, look, there is a lightning storm coming, and usually in that time, the sky is opening and changing, and there's a portal. And so since the eclipse, I have to mention, they had viewings every single night. Every single night they have seen lights in the sky dancing, to an extent that it's you literally can go there at 8 o'clock at night, and the portal opens and you can see the ships coming up. And I mean, it was just mind-blowing. We saw it ourselves. I 8 o'clock up, the ships started to emerge from the mountain area. And then again at 2 o'clock, 2 a.m. So it's kind of time.
Interesting.
So very, very interesting. But this time when we went, she said it was all, there were so many synchronicities this time, because we had a delay with our journey. We had someone who got sick, so we needed to go to hospital. And all these delays came to the point that we came to this area exactly when the portal opened. So it was just incredible.
I love that. Why do you think that they're coming into that particular region, or what do you perhaps think maybe they're trying to share, the messages, or what's going on? Is it somehow connected with the water there and how pure it is?
Well, since we've been there last time, I was talking about the reactivation of an ancient pyramid, which is actually here near San Miguel. And the pyramid is not mapped yet, because there's no archaeological kind of evidence yet, but we had an archaeologist with us, and he confirmed it was a pyramid. Actually, probably one of the oldest pyramids in the country, and also a massive area. So we went, and the pyramid was connected previously to water, and there is a valley which leads up to the pyramid, which was bone dry. There was nothing, no water. But you could see clearly where the water was running. And so it was all going towards the pyramid center. And then the archaeologists said that it either would have gone underneath the pyramid or part of the pyramid going through the pyramid, coming out on the other side, because there was a sharp drop on the other side of the plateau where the top of the pyramid is, and going into the valley towards San Miguel. So, and it is on a very, very powerful line of San Miguel anyway. So it's a very special place here in Mexico. And so this time we returned, because what we did at that time when we went the first time, we activated the waters, and we went with two shamans, which are local to San Miguel. And we discussed how to reconnect with the water, which is deep, deep down underneath the pyramid. So, and then they said, well, we need to entice the water, and we need to have water coming to teach the water to come back to the surface. And I thought, okay, so what we did is we drove 3,500 kilometers back and forward as you do, to two of the most sacred water places in Mexico. One comes from in the middle of the mountain. It comes from deep down the mountain. It's a hot spring. Okay. And it's in a zone of silence in Mexico. And the other comes from a very sacred place, which they call the Eye. And that's supposed to be the first place where water touched this earth. So it's a...
Tell me more about that. Wait, so the idea that this perhaps is the first place ever that water touched coming from the galactic core to the planet. And where is this? This is the Eye of what? And it's in Mexico?
Called the Eye, and it's just outside the zone of silence. And there are 4 different lagoons, which are beautiful, absolutely stunning. So the Eretillas, of course, they were in that region as well. So as well as the dunes, so they stretched quite a few 100 kilometers. You know, that was their territory. So and that was also part of the ancient ocean bed.
So is it possible, and I have no idea, so if this is the first water that ever touched, and it's that ancient and that pure, and perhaps it was seeded from the galactic core, meaning from the beings, that would make sense that they are hovering or connecting there, because water is the way to transport energy, information to around the planet, and we're made of water, so we're connecting with that high frequency, and that they're embedding or imprinting something or seeding something within it for us as a human race to evolve.
Yes, and that is why we decided to take a sample, a larger sample, because we had about 3 liters of each water source, because this one was representing sky, of course, and that one was representing earth. And this connection is very, very important, because most of the pyramids are connected to the waters anyway. So they have a courtyard in front of the pyramid, which they fill up with water. So the shaman can sit or stand inside of the water in the center, which is usually between the 4 staircases representing the 4 directions. And the acoustics in that area is outstanding. So when you clap your hands, it echoes from all 4 directions.
Wow. So all pyramids around the planet tend to have large bodies of water beneath them, and that's part of what activates them and all that. So you're saying that this pyramid, which was never discovered before, that's not on the map, the archaeologists are unfamiliar with, that's there, that you can't disclose because right now we don't want people running there and doing things to it, that the water was dry beneath it, is what you're saying.
Totally dry. So when we returned with the water samples, we had a ceremony to speak to the water deep below the pyramid. And then we were honored to pour the water from the top into the pyramid. And eventually that water would communicate with the water beneath the pyramid. So then the shaman said, so Yvonne, who is a very renowned shaman in the area, she's just a beautiful soul. And she said, okay, it will take 4 days. And she said, return in 4 days. And then we returned in 4 days. And we were really astonished to see that one of the main areas where there used to be a spring, which had just like a very, very little amount of water, was completely, the water has risen up at least 2 meters. Now that was something which was completely, it blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. So, and something else happened, of course, when we went to collect the water, we bumped into Hurricane Alberto when we collected the water of the eye. And so we had the rain and the clouds and the whole storm behind us, which actually was delayed. When we came, it took about 3-4 days before the storm hit, but there was no rain yet. It was mainly lightning storm, and it was like a huge portal was building up. And then it started to rain. After the water was rising up, it started to rain. And now we returned just a few days ago to check on the site, and it has so much water now that the stream is going towards the pyramid again. It's just amazing, absolutely amazing.
Just the human intervention of being conscious and aware and bringing love and making this long journey and the effort to bring this beautiful original blueprint water and bring it to this sacred site. The water then starts to communicate with the other water, merges together, and allows the water from beneath the pyramid that was dry to be revitalized and to surface, which then activates. I happen to just have a pyramid right on my desk. The pyramid, right, activates the pyramid, which then probably creates a easier and clearer communication with the galactic beings who are tuning in, and like we're really amplifying and bringing back online perhaps an ancient site that they're connected to, and the water is then traveling around and merging. So how do you think that relates to us? Like, so we're made of water, and if you can bring water from a source that's filled with love and creation and is active to a place that's perhaps dry, and communicate with each other and see the difference, the same thing with human consciousness, right?
Absolutely. I do truly believe that we all have the creational blueprint within us anyway. We are all vessels of water. We all come from water. So, and I think that this is a really important time for humanity. And this is why also the water consciousness is reaching out to us. So since the whole year actually of 24 has been all about water.
Water,
And
water.
absolutely. And so when I started to research water, which is quite a long time ago, about 14 years ago, but I could see that definitely the frequencies were changing. So I was taking a lot of different blueprints from different wells and springs around the country in the UK. And I went to Turkey, and I was investigating other sites there as well, like Göbekli Tepe or Karahan Tepe, and the Tigris, of course, or the Euphrates. So the river systems which are surrounding these sites. And it was quite incredible to see how the blueprint was changing over the years. So when I say the blueprint is changing, I have to explain that shortly. So we're taking images of the water, and we can see very clearly how the water is communicating. So the crystallization of the water when we freeze it is can be quite distorted if the water is stressed, a little bit like Dr. Emoto. But we have a different system of photographic lenses which we're using to highlight the colors inside the eyes. So, and we now are working on a very specific way to have a time-lapse video of each of the blueprints building, forming, whilst freezing. And so we can see that all the colors which are actually connected to our chakra system are emerging in a specific order. So what we're doing now is we're using a sound, the sound which is connected to each color. So for example, red is like the root chakra, has a C4 note. And so we kind of starting to interpretate the colors with notes, with music, with sounds. So And there is a sequence. So all the water freezes equally from the outside to the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a sequence actually emerging. So what we're doing now is we are trying to form a melody for each water, because each water around the planet, wherever the water source is, has its own song and has its own language. It's a little bit us humans, which come from different regions. And so these waters can communicate with each other as well. So we have done little research. I wouldn't call it experiments, let's call it communications between the waters. So we had one water source which was unwell, and then we had one water source which had a good blueprint. And so what happened is that the blueprint, the good blueprint of the water would educate or heal the water source which was compromised. And so there is so much more to learn. And we as humans, of course, can also be healed just purely by water. If we would have access to pure living water, we would have no issues at all. But the problem is that, of course, to find living water is not that easy. There's only 3% of living water left on this planet. So we have to find ways to restructure the water and to help it to come into a pure blueprint again. And that's the kind of work we're doing with Aquan, of course. But
so
yes.
So two things. I want to talk about Aquan and the blueprint of it and how it can help us, but also the relationship. So this water that's so pure, having this beautiful effect on the other water, is just such a potent and important message for all of us around the planet, since we are made of water, that as our consciousness is radiating love and light as well. Light is another important component of how the light itself from the galactic core, from the central sun, from our sun hits the water, right? The solar flares, the light coming in, the reflection on the water, its imprint on the water, the imprint on us, that sometimes I feel that we're going through such difficult changes right now on the planet that people feel hopeless, or as though who they are and what they do doesn't matter or make a difference, or that it's so big and that forget it. But yet, our state of consciousness, which relates to and shifts the blueprint of the water within us, does have a big difference. And then we're affecting everybody that we're with, we're walking next to, we're talking to, we're meeting in the grocery store, because we're interacting energetically just like that water is, and we are shifting the timeline. So it's just really important for people to realize that, because I think we think of ourselves as these solid beings, we forget that we're spaciousness, that we are energetic beings, and that we're made of this water. So if we can then drink your water, and I want you to tell me about that and what's in it and how, what its blueprint is like, how that affects us, and then that how affects everything. So please tell me.
Yeah. Yes, it's very well said. And also I wanted to point out quickly that the solar flares are actually really important at the minute. So they are a big part of the frequency changes, of course, within our planet and also outside our planet. And also
mentioning that, because real quick, because we're working with the light. What I do is I work with the light codes and the light, and how the light is affecting us, and starting to, we're learning so much between the old work of Dr. Emoto and Veda Austin and yourself about water and the crystalline structures and the communication. But and you've done a lot of work around sound and the standing stones and the importance of sound, but also light is such a big component, right? Light, sound is creation, and light itself, we're starting to realize that it's also communicating with us. And this is kind of a strange and fun thing, but you can start to see light come in, or shadows, or things even on the wall, and you can through your consciousness begin to communicate with the light, or communicate with the light on the water, and it too, like how water responds, light responds. Isn't that just like mind blowing? It's mind blowing, right? We start to see the
amazing.
elements as like alive again, like, oh my God, how did we forget that water and light is communicating with us?
Exactly, absolutely. And I think this is the time now also that water, because we haven't listened to water for such a long time as well. I mean, most of the people who would see water as just a body to hydrate. You know, there's so much more to it. And so yes, as you rightly explained, it's just so important that we are realizing and we are reconnecting with the consciousness of water, and that as we all are humans, we are all connected to the same frequency, or we have the possibility to rise up to the same frequency. So this is what I realized, but also by using an ancient blueprint, you can change the water slightly and you can bring it into the original frequency of creation. So when I researched it many years ago, I came across frankincense and myrrh. And frankincense and myrrh is quite important, not only because it has health benefits to your health. So frankincense, for example, is an anti-inflammatory, of course, we know. And myrrh, of course, is helping, for example, for any kind of infections or swellings, and it's quite an incredible resin for healing. So, but there's much more to it, because when I researched the ancient texts, so they didn't use just the resins for purification. They also used it for their spiritual work, to actually communicate with the other world, or with the extraterrestrials, or their ancestors.
Well, sure.
So
We think about myrrh and gold and frankincense when we think of holy times, or we think of Yeshua, or all
absolutely,
those things, the anointing. Yeah.
yes. So when I researched it from the medical point of view, I found out that myrrh is stimulating our GABA receptors, and they're responsible also for us to go into a state of theta waves. And theta waves, of course, are very important for meditation, for it's the first phase when we go to sleep, when we enter the dream world. So there's a lot of things here which are really connected to the spiritual work. It also opens up the third eye, and it also purifies the pineal gland. So, and that's something which is quite important, especially when it comes to water, because we all drink water which is slightly compromising our pineal gland. And so as we know from tap water or from bad water sources, that can happen very quickly, and the calcification of the pineal gland is quite a big issue. So, but when I started to use the waters, I used it actually originally on people who had dementia. They were completely closed off. So, and I saw a huge difference. So anytime when they ingested the frankincense and the myrrh, they had a real moment of clarity. So, and that is when I started to realize this is really working. This is kind of bringing us into a completely different state of awakeness, and it had to go into a different frequency. So then it took about 14 years to also figure out how to combine, of course, the resins with water, because it's usually oil-based. So you need to make it water soluble. So just about 2 years ago, I managed to do that. And then I instantaneously knew, okay, this can work now. So because the bioavailability needs to be there, needs to be coming through the water. So if it is just oil-based, then the bioavailability is not as great. So, but if it is connecting with water, then of course it will connect to us in a completely different way. And when I started to create the first Aquan water, which was frankincense, myrrh, and monoatomic gold, that is what we're using. That's a bridging tool between them. So we had 100 people from my previous clientele, my patients, who were willing to try it out, and the results were absolutely mind-blowing. Not just for health reasons, but also from spiritual kind of level. People instantaneously felt that the crown chakra was opening up, and they were really switched on. They had amazing dreams. Some had to work through some stuff to clear their energy field. I mean, it was just a real mind opener. So when the people came back to me and they told me what their experience was, it was mind blowing. I thought, wow, I really created something quite incredible. And it wasn't really me creating it. It was just a fusion of my knowledge of working with indigenous people, researching the text of indigenous people, and just in general, just going. I saw myself as a tool, if you like, and I just kind of was the person who mixed it all together in the end. So, but yeah, Aquan is out for over a year now. And so we have other products as well. So we have a healing cream, as people call it, the healing cream, because it is amazing for eczema and all sorts of different skin conditions. And it's a really quick result as well. So you apply it and you see pretty much an hour or 2 hours later, you can see it working already.
Wow, this is unbelievable. So people are getting physical results, but they're also opening their pineal gland, their crown chakra, tapping into higher
Yes.
energies, etc. And so, and I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I kind of remember something about you saying in recent months there's been an added thing that you've done or shifted with the water. So tell me about that.
Well, we have changed the way how we creating it. Not the key note is still there,
Mhm.
but what we have done, we have introduced light frequencies and we have sound frequencies. So sound frequencies, for example, we're using 5 to 8, which is the frequency of love, of course. And so we also using light frequencies, and the light frequencies are stimulating the blueprint of the water. So the water blueprint has a specific note and a song, which we have already decoded. So we're infusing the water with this information. And this information, and the most incredible thing is that the water which we have is slightly thicker than ordinary water, because it's actually the first stage of water plasma. So, and usually water plasma can be exposed to an environment which is not a sealed container, because otherwise it would collapse. But we managed through the right combination to stabilize that field, so that we are actually able to create water plasma. And this is like the first stage of the water plasma. So we now hope to refine it every single time. Then we're changing the blueprint slightly and intensifying the water into the original blueprint. We hope that eventually we will be able to have pure water plasma.
So it's making it more plasmic.
Yes, yeah. Because water plasma, in my opinion, is a very, very, very important point. And that was actually the last information which I received when we were in the desert. So two of my friends, that's when the portal happened. So when we drove into the portal, we literally were in the center of it, and the sky was splitting. It was just amazing.
All right, tell us more about this, because I want to know. What happened? What do you mean the sky was splitting? What are you talking about?
Well, it was really noticeable. So it was like we were in two different realities. So
Oh,
once
so the timeline was shifting, or what?
I cannot tell you really what happened, because it was bizarre experience. We were with 3 people, and so it was extraordinary. So we drove into the desert and we could see the lightning storm just ahead of us. That's when Eva, the indigenous, the person who's connected to the indigenous tribe, she said there is a portal opening, and she said, if you want to be in there, you should go now. And so we drove into the desert, and it's a very very difficult track. So we have a pickup, and we took the pickup, we loaded up the stuff, and we drove into the desert. So it's like a 30-minute drive through the most incredible pathways, because you have to be so careful not to get stuck. So so we drove basically towards the storm, and then we looked behind us, and there was a split in the sky. So one side was day blue, like the sky here behind me, and the other side was like a yellow tint. It was completely different, completely different.
Wow.
And it was just like a sliced sky. It was incredible. And so we drove towards lightning storm, and there was a lot of lightning, but no rain, just lightning. And so we then set up camp just beside the mountain area where the dunes are starting. And then when it was getting dark, because we had to rush because the daylight was fading. So then we set up camp, and we could see that the storm was intensifying. There was a lot of lightning. And then it approached about 8 o'clock or so, and the daylight was gone by then. And we then saw the first ships emerging from the mountain area. And we thought, wow, this is quite intense. And the energy also, and I have to say that, was electrifying, because the whole area is like a magnetic field. It makes your hair stand up when there's lightning as well on top of it. I mean, the whole completely charged up.
A
You're
bit
right.
scary, yeah.
You're right in the center of it.
I've
So
only seen space beings one time in my life, and it was also at a mountain, and they were like little dots, so it like this, and they felt like they were dropping into the mountain, and I was like, I can't believe I'm seeing this. So what did it, you say you saw ships, what did they look like to you?
okay, the ships were just like orbs, big,
Mhm.
big round orbs, and they were flashing. And so you could see that there was something, because sometimes the flashing would disappear and the round circular shape, or sometimes they were slightly triangular, would appear in the sky. But it was still quite a distance away. But then about, I think it must have been about 10 o'clock or so, I was sleeping on the pickup, on the back of the pickup, with a blow-up mattress, because I wanted to be under the sky. And there are a lot of scorpions, so you can't sleep on the sand. So we had to set up tents for the other two people, and there's snakes as well. So, it's just safer. But we started to look into the distance, and the first time that we saw actually some lights appearing on ground level. And we thought, oh, and it looked like someone was walking towards us with two huge torches of light. And but they weren't white, they were reddish. And we kind of just looked at each other, and we thought, this is odd. So, and it came towards us. I mean, from the distance, I would say maybe 200-300 meters away. And you could see them just moving along, and it looked like someone was walking. But then we took our binoculars and we had a look, and then my friend said, they're not torches, they're not people, they're dancing. They're just dancing just above the tree line there. And there were no houses, nothing. It's just desert. So, and then something really odd happened, because usually I'm really quite awake, and I would have gone and investigated. So those two went off, and they walked towards the light to investigate what it was. And I suddenly just got so tired. I just lay down and I was gone. Nothing. So I was completely like switched off, and but switched on in a different way. And so while they were gone, I got this amazing information about the water plasma and the blueprint of water, and it was absolutely incredible. Something I never ever looked at in such a way. And it was talking about what I can only describe. We actually formed a new word about it, which is aquatrix, which is like,
yeah, okay, yeah, quatrix, because you mentioned that. I'm like, what is that? So tell me, I'm so excited.
yeah. So it's about the matrix of water. And so around the planet, of course, we have certain areas which are connected usually to pyramids, very important places of energetic power points. And so these areas are quite important when it comes to water, because the water sources are very pure and very full of information. And that's what it's all about. So what they explained to me, and this sounds now a little bit far out, but
nothing else so far has been far out at all, so okay, yes.
Each planet literally has its own blueprint of water as an overall. So, and within this blueprint, you find all the different blueprints, so which are all connecting to each other. And that's why it is so important that the decoding of those blueprints and the reconnecting of those blueprints are essential to understand the cosmic waters again. So, and they are using also the water plasma as something which they use as a navigation tool, but also as a form of fuel to navigate between planets. Now that is something which,
Oh, interesting. So you mean they're using the water themselves to move through dimensions?
yes, yeah, and they created water plasma. And so water plasma is the key pretty much to everything. So this is free energy concept. So it is also connecting as a navigation tool, literally to use one blueprint to connect to the blueprints of this specific planet, like a GPS system, if you like, and then they would be able to travel through the space, knowing exactly where they would end up, which is exactly where the blueprint comes into. So it sounds a little bit complicated, but it actually makes complete sense. And not only that our solar system has this kind of blueprints, it's a universal order, if you like, that every single celestial body has its own blueprints. Because we do know also that the sun, of course, has also water vapor on the surface. So again, you know, every single galaxy probably has the same kind of makeup in a way, which water is one of the deepest connection or the deepest blueprint with the knowledge of these specific bodies or galaxies. If you understand what I'm talking about,
Do you understand what you're talking about? This is just fascinating.
yeah.
Okay. And
So
so
what
they're all also holding all of their own creational blueprints. And then perhaps as these portals are opening, we're beginning to merge with them. And I'm wondering if there's some connection between this and the activating of our DNA.
Well, exactly, because we are also vessels of water, and we would carry the same blueprint. So everybody does have the same blueprint. If you're awake and have activated that blueprint, or you haven't, it does still do. So maybe perhaps not ready yet, or haven't switched on completely, have been kind of misguided by false information. I think they are still they will still be affected by it, and they will still be part of it, because we all are connected. There is no one who's not connected. We are all connected to every single plant on this planet, and all the animals. I mean, we all are made and created in the same way. So, and from that point, I think that the whole evolutionary process, I don't want to call it really that, but it's more like a frequency upgrade. And I think this is what's really, really important at the moment. So coming back to this message which I received, is that the water plasma, which they are using to communicate between different planets, is also their very deep soul connection between us as well. So, and we all know that, for example, we have spinal fluid, which is like the plasma, and there's all sorts of different connections here, which are really, really important. So when I say that they are using it as a navigation tool, it's much more than a navigation tool. It's also that they are able to home in onto the frequencies, and they're able to communicate in that way with different beings. So they might communicate with us as humans. They might have a different race on a different planet. So, and this blueprint is literally much more than just a navigation tool. It is also a communication tool, and it also enables them to raise their frequency to whoever they would like to communicate with. So that would explain that they don't need to learn the language, or, you know, so it's like a huge.
Yeah, it's a point of union, of connection, which I noticed. So in the last few weeks, Alex, I've been channeling the Lyran beings, right? And we've been going all the way up into like 12D. And we've been connecting with them, and they've been coming through and through like a serpent road of light descending into our dimension. And when we're merging with them, but as we've been merging and connecting with them, often what they'll do is they'll lay down, and then we will connect and lay down vertebrae by vertebrae, our spines together, and merge the fluids, and often the fluids come up, and it's this intense union and connection. And as Raphael communicates with us and we're working on it, it's like us merging with a part of ourself, a star aspect of ourself that perhaps is somewhat suspended, that we're connected to in a higher dimension. And sometimes it can be very intense, and we're bringing up this raw primal water and this galactic water, and that comes down through the spinal cord, and then we merge these energies together. And now that you're mentioning this, and you had also mentioned the fluid moving through our spine, it feels like from us, because it's so holographic and it's so expansive. I find my mind and people's minds, even in class when we're working with this, it can be intense and overwhelming. But from an energetic standpoint, not only are we collectively unifying and coming into union with the animals and with the plants and with the water and with one another, but we're also coming into union with our star brothers and sisters and all the dimensions unifying into one point. And water must be the commonality and light and sound to bring this union together to raise the consciousness. And I just find this to be really extraordinary.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree, and that's why we have the ability to communicate with animals as well. So, and we are literally using the same technique, if you like, because our blueprint is adaptable to other beings, to other yes, to other beings who have maybe slightly different blueprint. So, just in communication, sense of communication. So, and that's why I just met on my travels, I met a crow, which was outside a petrol station. And the crow was just sitting on a chair, well, not sitting, standing on a chair. And she was just looking at me, and I thought, oh, okay, I get it. You want some peanuts. So I went inside, I got some peanuts, and then I started feeding the peanuts to the crow. But we can have that interlink with other beings around this planet, but also we are able to do the same with intergalactic, with our extraterrestrial friends. So, and I know that communication, as we know, we speak, and the sound and the frequency is not our original way of communicating. Of course, it isn't. So we have manipulated into using a different form of expressing ourselves.
Mm.
So if you go back actually into the different languages, like thousands and thousands of years ago, they would have different sounds and frequencies, and they would be much more connected to nature, sounds in nature all around us, like including the water. And this is where the Eretillas come into. So this is why we are absolutely convinced that the Eretillas are the last standing tribe, or were, because they're not extinct now, but the Laguneros are still alive. So, and I think that they hold the last record of how to communicate with water. And because, as we just found out, we have seen this incredible rock carvings, 2 million years old. I mean, this is just incredible.
Amazing.
And yes, so, and that is a testimony to that our history, of course, is not as we know it. So a lot has been manipulated to make us believe we are descended from some very primitive beings on this planet. But that is far from the truth, because they were extraordinary people. They would have not only the solar, the celestial mapping from our cosmos and our planets and the galaxies, they also could forecast, for example, events which were like the eclipse, thousands of years ahead of their time. So that it's just incredible. They're so
sophisticated, right? Completely on a whole nother level. Well, full activated strand of DNA that we have turned off and lost, that we're trying to get back to. Well, this has just been fascinating. My God, so much to share. My mind kind of went off. There were so many things I wanted to continue to talk to you about and ask, but these beings are coming in droves. And I think what I've been sharing in class and with our community is just asking people to start to tap in again, like you're saying, to listen, and communicate with the water and its frequency, but also like now we know that you can hook something up to a plant and it sings a song for us, right? And it's what you were doing. I remember with, I think it was the Maiden Stones in Cornwall, and the stones were
Yes,
having a sound. Everything is alive, everything has frequency, everything's communicating with us, and it's
yeah,
time for us to reconnect. And I'm so glad you're there with the shamans and they're reminding you of that and bringing you into that frequency. And now you're sharing that with all of us. It's so
yes.
beautiful.
There's so much more work to do, and we're going to return to the desert area of the Laguneros or the Eritillas in most likely another 6 weeks. So we would like to intensify. They have to, every time we return, and this is also the thing which is really important, because there's the trust between us is growing. So we also supporting, of course, the communities against the farming industry, which is growing and threatening these waters. And also we are actively involved in protecting the tortoises, which are the Bolson tortoises in the desert of Mapimi. So, and every time the farmers are coming closer to these areas of protection, they're losing a huge amount of these beautiful creatures, these tortoises. And so it's a little bit difficult for them to protect themselves, because there are only 15 people in that village left. So, and so they're truly amazing people, and the knowledge they have about the plants and the water, and their life is so in tune with nature. It's so untouched from the outside world. We don't even have Wi-Fi when we go there, because there's no connection, because it's called the zone of silence for no reason. Not for no reason. So there's no connection to the outside world. And we learned so much from these people. They're so inviting. We are part of their family now. And so we can come whenever we like to stay. And then they show us a little more and a little more. So it was really an honor for us to see the dwellings of the Eritillas, which is really sacred to them. So the next time they're going to show us a different place, which is a rock. And it's something really extraordinary about it. It's a rock which is shaped in form of a chalice.
Wow.
And the sacred place. And the weird thing is that there is water on top of this chalice-shaped rock at all times. And it is desert, right? So it hasn't rained there for 18 months, and it's so dry. And if there's any rain, it's just like a few drops and kind of evaporates again. But they said they do not know why there is water at all times standing on this surface of this stone. So, and they said it's a really sacred place, because that was connected to an initiation place for the Eritillas, where they communicated with their ancestors from the sky. So next time we're going to see that, and I can't wait. So some of the information we can share, but we're not allowed to disclose the position where these sites are, and we totally respect that. So, but it is, yeah,
You don't want it to get contaminated. It's so pure. Yeah.
exactly. So, but there's so much more to discover, and is so much more knowledge. So we're learning more and more. And they don't even, when they communicate with water and when they do their thing and they talk to the plants, it's just us talking. They don't even think of it as being anything unusual. So it's just something which is like second nature to them. And the end
How
is
it should be. We're the ones that are all mixed up, of course.
absolutely. And that's what I'm always thinking. We do not need to follow anything. We don't need to follow anybody. We have this information all deep inside. And I think that is something which we need to learn as humans. We need to liberate ourselves from restricting ourselves to explore our own spirituality. And I think that is really, really important when it comes to water. We need to be in the flow. And only then we can really understand. I'm learning so much more about water since I just let go of everything I know. I just kind of go with the flow. And then water also communicates back to you. And it is amazing. It's kind of telling us literally where to go, where the next destination is. So we don't have to even plan anymore. It's just happening. So it's just amazing.
It's just amazing. Well, I'm really grateful that you're there and that you're with these beautiful shamans and that you're doing this incredible work and that you're sharing your water with the world to elevate the consciousness. So I really, really appreciate that so much, Alex. And I will put a link everybody here for where you can get the Aquan water and connect with Dr. Ling and all of his beautiful work and everything that he does. And we'll just keep carrying on and radiating love into the planet. That's all we can do, right?
Absolutely, exactly. And it's a beautiful time. And people who are fearful, I understand that many people are a little bit insecure or unsure where they're going next, but just trust. That's all really I can say. And it really is like that. For me personally, when I started to go into this whole spiritual journey, I was coming from a medical background. I was a GP, and then I went into functional medicine. I had to really let go of everything, and it was a bit like stepping over the cliff and not knowing if you have a safety net. And soon as I did it, things kind of just opened up in front of me, and it was all good. So I didn't have to be worried about anything at all. So everything was taken care of. And sometimes even bad situations, which we receive as bad situations, are also there to teach us. So and sometimes it's needed to open up a new gateway as well, a new doorway where we need to understand, or we need to learn something beforehand before we can move on. So it's really like that.
It's so like
So
that.
I think and
We keep
one
ascending in our frequency, the more and more we remember, right? We are remembering that it's perfect to trust. And I want to reiterate what Alex is saying. The timelines are shifting all the time, and we got this, you guys. We just got to stay in love. Just stay in the love, let go of the fear, don't drop into it or into drama, chaos, clickbait of some horrible things about to happen and all of that. It's so not what we're about and so important to hold the higher timeline. Yeah.
absolutely, because we don't need this anymore. We have done the whole all the negatives, so which came into so many people's lives a few years back. I think everybody knows what I'm talking about. But this has actually helped us to communicate with each other much better. And I think there's yes, of course, there's some people who are still in the 3D reality and they're kind of struggling and all this, but this is their teaching. So and we have to see as a collective, so as the race, as a humanity, so that we can lift together this planet and the water, together with the water, into a different frequency. And I think this is why water is communicating with us and reaching out, because this is the time now to do this. So for sure, I don't see any negativity anymore. It's not that I'm ignorant or kind of, but I feel that I don't want to absorb this imagery anymore, which is having any kind of negative impact on me. And I think that's a very good thing to do for everybody.
100%. That's where I'm at, 100% in our community. So we are holding the love and staying in the light and riding this wave. So thank you.
Absolutely.
So tell us real quick, I'm going to put it in the link when I share this video on YouTube, and people will be able to find it. But just for those in our community who are here right now, where do they get the water that you have blessed with all of your love?
Of course. So we have a website, and the website is, you can find it under aquan.co.uk.
Okay. All right. And I'll share that, guys, and I'll put it in the email when I send out the replay. Okay. So for those of you in our Light Code membership and working with the Lyran beings, I'll see you tomorrow morning early for more merging with the galactic love. And I think that this conversation with Alex was amazing. And it also brought a lot of understanding perhaps to the work that we're all doing together. And so thank you all for coming on. I know it was a different time than usual, but I appreciate it. And I'll see everybody tomorrow. Many blessings, and thank you, Alex.
Thank
Bye.
you so much for having me, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in September.
I know we're going to be in the neck of the woods. So we're in Glastonbury for the fall equinox. We're in Cornwall a few days after. So we'll definitely, and we want to talk to you and maybe go to Clay Hill or whatever you can help us connect. That'd be great. And who knows, maybe we'll get out to the zone of silence. I would love to do that.
I think you really need to come.
I do
Absolutely.
too. I so feel that. And Demetri and I are on our way. So I'm thinking maybe 12/12 is an epic time to be there.
Amazing. Oh, I forgot to mention, we do have a possibility for some people to come and join us as well.
Okay.
So we have very, very small groups in respect of the indigenous people, but we offer to come what we call the Aquan Explorers. So you will find some information on the internet as well on the website. So
Okay, fantastic. All right. Well, we will be seeing you. All right. Much love, Alex. Thank you so much.
yes.
Thanks.
Bye bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody. Have a beautiful week.